But I'm going to go into this particular image. So this is a graph of force, different types of force, and then the speed of force, okay, of application. So concentric is when things shorten. And when you see like it's the muscle shortening velocity increases, the forces go down. So this is why I'm saying the tempos and the loading has to be set. Like even sometimes when I look at our app, which is getting remodeled, we had a meeting about it today. I think some of the rep ranges are too high because the band strength is going to be too light for doing that many reps. That's why 6 reps, it's great for me. Sometimes I only do 3, and it's pretty heavy. I try to leave the concentric part of training for throwing. And I try to really have this like this isometric period, and we're doing this. Kids get used to testing, not moving. That's isometric force when the joint's not moving, they're pushing into something, can't go anywhere. That's where we get co-contraction. So co-con right here, all the muscles are firing so that you can't change the joint position. But where I spend a ton of the effort in training is eccentrically, because that's what protects us from injury. We can go so much faster with higher force when we lengthen, and that produces a lot more arm speed with training. Okay, so that's some pretty important stuff. I will show you some videos. So, like if I was looking at a pure co-contraction, I got really heavy load. Like I can't move anywhere on here. This is like fully isometric. I also have my hands in my peripheral vision. I don't like doing things too much deep in end range like this, but I'm squeezing the hell out of this isometric period. And I'm trying to activate as much force as possible. The other thing that you're going to notice is I'm in a half kneeling position. I think I talked a little bit about it. Just want to rehash again. I do like, this I'm taking away a lot of posterior force. So I have a very like bent, it's almost more anterior force because I got more dorsiflexion in my ankle, my knees way ahead of my heel. But you could get them in a stance where it's more like their bracing leg where they're pushing back, and that way they have a little bit more recruitment of their glutes. They get a little bit more of a sport specific, I call it a strength and coordination approach here. So that's for co-contraction. Now we got to look at what happens with I call econ training. So econ, we talked about that. So that's eccentric after. So it's this after the co-contraction period. So I'm gonna get rid of this, and I'll play that video. So this is our heaviest band, okay? This is a 40-pound band. I'm securing this sucker, and I'm getting to a point where I can move it to my max range. And then what I'm doing is I'm walking out with it. I'm trying to help myself even with my other hand, but I'm really focused on the negative, okay? When I get to a walkout position where this is 65 pounds, what I do is I assist myself. I use my other hand. So a lot of our coursework that you guys, I believe, will have access to our electronic certifications. You're going to see a lot of different exercise variations. I think we have 140 in our new specialist course. You're going to see some of these where I'm actually passing the load to my exercising hand. I try not to spend too much time. If I'm doing too much shortening work and I'm easily able to get that into the end range position, that force is going to be really low. So I try to be up here and here. I want to really have high recruitment. That's what really boosts strength, like beyond belief. I think that's what you guys are going to be headed to is really strong arms to have great capacity over their loading. So that's just isometric, not moving, 2 equal forces around a joint. The gas is what we're worried about. A lot of acceleratory work. You're going to see even too when guys go to, be in a split stance position, they always want to go throwing arm opposite to their non-throwing foot so that, they're always in this acceleration position. We want to get them in a deceleration position. That would be reversing the feet like I have here. This one is in an acceleration position because I have opposite limbs up. If I brought this leg forward and the other leg back, now I'm on the same side. That's more of a deceleration position from my lower half. I'm not creating opposing forces in a diagonal pattern. All right. So that's important. And my heuristic for training, all right, is training the brakes. You train the brakes so you don't break. Okay, that's that negative loading. Being more out here, less in here, you're going to have a much healthier athlete.